Welcome back to the show. Today we've been talking purpose, and I don't know about you, but I'm still blown away from Darren's interview. He just comes in with such a great energy, and his vibe is just amazing. I'm so excited. So we've been receiving a lot of social media feedback, and I have my good friend Raina Plummer from the Flourish Network here to read some of your questions and comments. So Raina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you. I think it's a great opportunity to share all the great things you're doing, and as well as for people to hear more about your book, because I absolutely love it and I think everyone should know about it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So tell me, what are people saying in social media?
They are loving the show. They are figuring out what their purpose is. So I have a few questions here. One is, if you have no idea what your purpose is, what is a good way to start figuring it out?
Great question. The first step is to find out what you're really push towards. So let's just say, for instance, you're a really good writer. You used to get really good grades in your writing classes, or when you got assignments, it just came to you really, really easily. Then that is giving you a hint that maybe you should be a writer. Maybe this is your purpose. Your purpose is never going to be associated with something that you just can't stand doing. So for instance, with me, I went to USC and I studied law and politics. However, I didn't get an internship until later in a law office, and I was like, there's no way I can't do this. Like, I don't like it. People are mean. They're in a bad mood. So I knew that that wasn't for me. And so that's how you know. So if you're starting to have these inklings of, oh, I'm a really good writer, or, oh, I'm really good with the camera, then you should pursue that and see if that's your purpose.
Great. That's such great advice. And then at Maya CC says, I really enjoy the show. I'm definitely much clearer on my purpose, and I'm going to buy your book, and it's so hard for me to figure out my purpose. What can I do to actively figure that out?
Well, I would say, first of all, if you think that you know, let's just say, for instance, you kind of have a feeling that you're supposed to spread a message on radio. I would say get an internship with someone who has a radio show, so that way you could get the feel for it and you could start to get the training. And once you feel like you're fully prepared, then you could start to do your radio show. So it's really about finding a mentor that's already doing what you think is your purpose, learning from them, and then it's once you feel that you're ready, then launching into that.
That's such great advice. And I think finding a mentor is one of the key things. I know with the Flourish Network we love to do is just help connect people with the people who they really need to meet and really learn what it is they want to do and grow in their craft. So I really appreciate that advice. I know you're a mentor to some great females and some great girls around the city, so I know everything you're doing is very positive. Do we have time for one last question?
Yes, one last question.
Okay, great. So this one says, is it too late to find your purpose?
It is never too late. A lot of people don't even know or discover their purpose until after they retire from their careers, because they've had to have the pressure of either raising a family or having to help their parents, and so they've never actually asked themselves, what do I really want, or what is my heart, or what does God want for me? Instead, they do jobs that the community or that their family thinks is acceptable, maybe like a lawyer or doctor. Kind of like in my case, I was aiming for that because I wanted to make my parents proud, never thinking that I first have to make God proud. And so I would just say to really, really focus on what you feel inside, just like what Darren was saying. Listen to that inner voice. It will never lead you wrong.
So that leads me to my next point. How do you tap into your inner voice? Because for me, it's so hard. I have work and I'm going back to school and family and friends, but how do you really focus and really tune into what God is trying to say?
I am the same way, Raina, and I think 100% of us deal with that, where we have a lot of things to do, and then we have a lot of internal voices that are trying to tell us what to do, that we're not good enough. What I particularly do is I go to the mountains every morning, I leave my phone in the car, and I just take my key, and I start praying. And then after I'm done praying and I get in that energy level, I ask God to speak to me. I say, God, is there anything that you want to tell me that you could communicate to me now? And before I know it, I could hear that internal voice. Now, it doesn't just happen like that. You have to work at it. In the beginning, when I used to go to spas or anywhere where you have to be quiet, it would be really bad for me, because I'm like, voices, shut up. Like, I don't have to do this work right now, or this client that. Like, it was really hard for me to still the mind. So it took practice, but eventually I got there. And now I could be still in the most chaotic room because I know how to get to that place quickly.
That's such good advice. I'm working on that every day. I'm like, million voices going, and where do I stop? How do I go? How do I go? So I think we have time for one last question. How do I be great in what I'm trying to do? So right now, for instance, I'm not doing what I feel is my purpose or my passion, but I still want to be great at it while I'm working towards my purpose, because I still have to pay my bills.
Yes.
But how do I, navigate the two? Like still having to work, but going towards what I really, really want to do.
Fantastic question. I actually addressed that in my book. So what you're going to have to do is work overtime at the beginning. So your purpose is going to be like a second job. So let's just say you have like a 9 to 5 like everyone else. As soon as you get home, you're starting your purpose work. So either, let's just say, for instance, God told you that you need to be a motivational speaker. Okay, you're going to now start watching YouTube videos of people who do it. You're going to start going to different lectures, starting to learn the rhythms, the tempos. You're going to start to network with people who also do speaking engagements, so that way you could start to be in that circle. And like, once again, once you're ready, then you can make that leap. Because what I tell people is when God tells you your purpose, sometimes you're completely not equipped for what God told you to do. Let's just say, for instance, God told a mechanic that you need to be a preacher, but they've never read the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And so then I would say, while you have your mechanic job, start reading the Bible, start going to Bible studies, start going to church, see what the format is, see what the business is like, see how you could even succeed at this, and start saving money. So instead of going to happy hours with your friends, or instead of buying the extra pair of shoes, I know, you're going to have to cut some of those out in order for you to save for your purpose. But thank you so much for those questions, Raina.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate having you here. And everyone, make sure that you go to the Flourish Network to find out more about her blog. I think Raina is fantastic, and she's a great friend of mine. And so before we go, I want to thank the sponsors, because this is the last segment in English. So I'd like to thank Minister Deborah Smith-Simpkins. For more information, please go to her website, deborahsimpkins.com. I'd like to thank My Media Mogul. If you guys need websites or flyers, or if you guys want to boost your social media following, make sure to go to his website, mymogulmedia.com. I'd also like to thank Independent Business Magazine. If you're a small business and you need exposure, make sure you contact Ty Davis at independentbusinessmagazine.com. I'd also like to thank Ramon Ward. He's a fantastic photographer in Hollywood. Contact him on his Facebook page. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, make sure you email us at the Elvira Guzman Show at gmail.com. All right, when I come back, the show's going to be in Espanol. So if you speak Spanish, make sure you tune in, because I have a fantastic guest here named Gabe Rowland, and he might be singing a little something live. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.